Good afternoon. So today, we'll be discussing the neuroanatomy, the radiology of neuroanatomy. So expect nyo ulit na this is all anatomy. Mag-focus tayo talaga dun sa anatomy ng brain and the appropriate imaging modalities that you should request as a clinician. No? So let's start. So what are the imaging modalities for the head or brain? We use the skull radiograph, ultrasound, CT scan, MRI. So kung mapapansin natin, so all of the imaging modalities are being used for the evaluation of head or the brain. So for your skull X-ray, AP and lateral are the usual routine or the standard views that are used when you request for a skull X-ray. So this is your AP and lateral views of their skull. So in cases of trauma, contusion, hematoma, sa patient, usually pa rin skull X-ray yung unang nire-request ng clinician. No? Initially, skull X-ray pa rin. So, however, the skull has a limited role in the study of the brain and it is used as a primary imaging modality in cases of trauma. So again, if in need of further evaluation, CT scan is being requested. Okay, in addition to your skull X-ray. Next, this is an example of a cranial ultrasound. So this is your axial view, the first image, your axial view sa cranial ultrasound, then your sagittal view. Okay, so in here, this is your interhemispheric fissure. In the anterior interhemispheric fissure, this is your frontal lobe. The frontal horn of the lateral ventricle. So ito yung lateral ventricle natin, bilateral. Your corpus callosum, the cavum septum pellucidum. So common yan sa infants, no, sa mga bata. Then the putamen and globus, your head of the caudate nucleus, the sylvian fissure, temporal lobe, and uncus of your temporal lobe. So this is your posterior, no, and this is your anterior or the frontal. Okay. This ultrasound, cranial ultrasound, is commonly requested sa mga babies, infants kapag naghahanap ng hemorrhage, hydrocephalus, or enlargement ng mga ventricle. So in infants, your head ultrasound is used to evaluate again your hydrocephalus, if there is an enlargement sa ventricles. Also for the detection of bleeding sa brain tissue or sa ventricle. Okay, so cranial ultrasound yung nare-request sa mga babies usually. So this one naman is an example of your cranial CT scan. Okay, this is how your cranial CT scan looks like. Again, these are two axial views with yung contrast na is pang brain. This one naman, mas nakikita natin pang bone ito. So kapag trauma, tinitingnan namin yung view na to, yung sa bone, para mas makita namin kung may fracture. And then this one naman is the sagittal view, cranial CT scan. Okay? This is, this is the brain window and the bone window. Okay? Then another axial view, okay, in brain window. So ayan, mas makikita or madidelineate natin yung pathology sa brain. Okay? Then your sagittal view and your coronal view, I know you're familiar na din naman kasi paulit-ulit lang din yung mga views na pinapakita namin, no, sa mga lectures, sa exams nyo, practical exams. So paulit-ulit lang ang sagittal, coronal, axial views. So dapat hindi na kayo nalilito sa kanila. Okay, so mayroon mga structures sa brain na mas madaling makita or mas madaling ma-appreciate sa sagittal view, meron naman sa coronal view, meron sa axial view. So iba-iba din sila. Okay, so but ang important, kapag may nakita tayong pathology sa isang view, like nakita natin siya sa axial CT scan, makikita din natin siya sa sagittal and makikita natin siya sa coronal. Kapag nakita natin yung pathology na yun sa lahat ng views, so most probably totoo yung lesion na nakikita natin. Okay? So this pictures naman, 3D CT scan, no? Your anterior, your posterior, and lateral. So in cases of trauma, tinitingnan din namin to yung 3D para lang ma-confirm namin or ma-sure namin na walang fracture or may fracture. Okay, for fractures. Kasi dito sa 3D, kitang-kita yung mga suture, fontanelle. Okay, so kapag symmetric yung suture, nakita namin sa 3D. So baka hindi talaga siya totoong fracture, yung mga something like that, no? So yun yung mga kino-confirm namin sa 3D. Kasi minsan nakikita namin bakit may parang hindi naman siya totoong suture, so baka fracture yun. Okay, so this 3D CT scan is also important, no, sa pag-detect ng mga fracture and abnormalities, especially in trauma. The next is the MRI. So we have your T1 and T2 weighted MRI. So in here, sa level nyo, so dapat alam nyo na yung T1, yung ventricle, so these are the lateral ventricle, no? So anterior horn of your lateral ventricle, so this is your part of your lateral ventricle. So it contains CSF. So CSF is fluid. So sa T1, black siya. Black yung fluid sa T1. And then sa T2, white naman. So remember na sa T1, yung fluid is black and sa T2, yung fluid is white. Okay? Then, your cranial MRI, example ulit of your axial and coronal view of your cranial MRI. So same lang din like yung CT scan. But then again, ang difference nila is yung sa contrast. So magkaiba yung resolution, no, ng MRI and CT scan. Siguro naman by this time, sobrang dami nyo na rin nakita na example ng MRI and CT scan, you know na din the difference between them, kung ano yung resolution nila, yung pinagkaiba nila. But dun sa view, same lang yun. Same lang yung axial, same lang yung sagittal, same lang yung coronal views. So here is the lateral view of the skull. So again, anatomy. So yung sa skull, so this is your calvarium, frontal bone, parietal bone. Okay, then here's your sphenoid, the temporal. So ito yung mga important na tinitingnan natin to rule out in cases of trauma. So yung specify natin kung saan nakita yung fracture, sa frontal bone ba, sa frontoparietal bone ba, sa parieto-occipital region ba. Okay, so something like that. So this picture, mukhang bones yung pinapakita dito sa image na to. So, and then naman, yung lateral view of your brain. So, ito siya. I know familiar naman na kayo sa itsura and sa anatomy. So, just review this one na lang. So, again, anatomy. Your cerebrum, the thalamus, the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, midbrain, the pons medulla. Okay, so yun lang ulit. Inulit lang ulit yung mga anatomy na yan. So your frontal lobe, it is responsible for the executive functions, thinking, planning, organizing, problem-solving, emotions, and behavioral control personality. So kapag nagpa-plan tayo, nagpa-problem-solving, so more on frontal lobe yung nagpa-function. For our movement, this is your motor cortex, and then your sensory cortex. So kapag sensation, mas posterior siya. No? Then yung motor cortex natin, mas anterior kesa dun sa sensory cortex. Then the parietal lobe. This is where perception, making sense of the words, arithmetic, spelling happens, no, sa parietal lobe. Then your occipital lobe. So alam natin yan for vision, occipital lobe. Then the temporal lobe for your memory, understanding, and language. So this one is an example of your cranial CT scan. There's a patient. nagkaroon ng vehicular accident. So, nagkaroon ng contusion hematoma sa right parietal occipital. So, to rule out hemorrhage or fracture intracranially, so the clinician will request for a cranial CT scan. So, in cranial CT scan, in order to perform head CT scan, the patient is placed on the CT table. So, ihihiga ng tech yung patient, papahigain in a supine position, and then the tube rotates around the patient in the gantry. So, ito yung tube. So, kung na-CT scan kayo, may experience na kayo, alam nyo yung tunog ng CT scan, no? So, may magro-rotate lang yan. Magro-rotate yung sa tube. But yung patient, nakahiga lang siya, hindi siya yung magro-rotate. Okay? So, papasok lang siya and lalabas dun sa gantry. Yun lang yung movement ng patient. But pag nandun na siya sa loob ng gantry, so magro-rotate lang yung tube sa patient. Okay? So in order to prevent unnecessary irradiation of the orbits and especially the lenses, head CTs are performed at an angle parallel to the base of the skull. Okay? So slice thickness may vary, but in general, it is between 5 to 10 millimeters. And if there is a intravenous contrast to rule out tumor, cerebral infection. So yun, parang may additional na radiation na marireceive yung patient. Kasi iba yung pag-scan nung walang contrast, then another scan yung may IV contrast na na-inject doon sa patient. Okay? So, this is your axial CT scan. This is your anterior. Always yan. So, pag nagtingin kayo ng CT scan, axial, so always ito yung anterior ng patient, ito yung posterior. So, huwag malilito. Ito lagi yung anterior. This is your right. This is the left. Okay? So, in bone window, ito pinakita ko na kanina. So, kanina may brain window kayo nakita. This one is a brain window. So, mas makikita natin yung area ng brain. But this one, CT bone window. So, kung may fracture, ito yung ginagamit namin na window para makita ng maayos yung bone. Okay? So, this is the outer table, the inner table, your suture, the diplo, your scalp. So usually kapag may mga soft tissue swelling, subgaleal hematoma, so makikita natin sa area na yan. Okay? So kapag nakakita tayo ng mga soft tissue swelling or soft tissue injury, hematoma sa area na yon, most probably kung merong magpa-fracture dun din sa area na yon. So doon natin tinitingnan kung may na-fracture ba or soft tissue swelling lang ba siya or hematoma lang ba siya. Okay, so ito yung itsura ng bone window natin. So scout view, it looks like a plain radiograph of the patient in profile. So that's your scout view sa CT scan. And then we have 6 lines drawn on the diagram to indicate the levels at which the 6 essential CT images are taken. So we have the 6 essential CT images which will be discussed later. Okay? So the CT of the head, the usual location of the patient's ID, scout view, and the 6 essential CT images. The other boxes represent images taken between the essential images. So the 6 essential images, so ito yung mga important slices, no, na doon natin makikita yung mga important anatomy ng head. No, kaya siya tinawag na 6 essential CT images. So nandun sa 6 slices na yon yung mga important structures na dapat natin ma-determine or ma-evaluate, lalo na at your level. So these 6 essential CT images are very important at your level. So you have to understand and memorize this one. Okay, study this one. Okay, so we have the 6 essential CT images. We have the X, okay, the star, your Mr. Happy, the Mr. Sad, the worms, and the coffee bean. Okay, so later makikita nyo bakit sila tinawag na X, the star, Mr. Happy, Mr. Sad, Worms, and Coffee Bean. Okay, so first is the X. Okay, so yung X, it is the first basic slice taken near the base of the skull. So in sagittal, ito siya. So saan ba yung base ng skull? So ito yung base ng skull natin. Base ng skull. So siya yung nasa near ng base ng skull. So ito siya. Sa eggshell, ito siya. So that's the X. Okay? Naka-appreciate niyo yung X. Okay, that's the X. A, ano yung makikita natin dito sa first basic slice na to? Your orbit. Then the sphenoid sinus. The temporal lobe. The external auditory canal. So right external auditory canal. Hindi nakita sa slice yung left, but sometimes naman sabay silang nakikita. Then the mastoid air cells. And F, ito na, cerebellar hemisphere na to. This is your cerebellum na. So these are the structures na makikita natin sa first basic slice, which is the X. Okay? So in cranial cross-sectional anatomy, it is very important to know prior to analyzing a head CT. Okay, so yung anatomy, the cranial cross-sectional anatomy, so important siya bago mo masabi na, bago mo ma-analyze yung CT scan. Dapat alam mo yung normal para mo masabi na may abnormal. Okay, so once the normal structures are identified, you can start detecting abnormalities and you can diagnose. So again, symmetry is an important concept in anatomy and it is almost always present in a normal head CT unless the patient is incorrectly positioned. Sometimes kasi hindi maganda yung position ng patient or malikot yung patient. But if the patient is correctly positioned, so dapat symmetrical. And yun yung normal. Okay? The next essential CT is the star. Okay, so this is the star. Okay, in axial CT scan, ito yung tinatawag na star. So ano ba yung nire-represent ng star na yun? So this is the area of your suprasellar cistern. This is the second basic slice. So kanina, yung first slice natin, yung X. So siya yung nasa near ng base ng skull. Then umangat tayo, yung second CT slice is the star. So ito yan, yung area of the suprasellar cistern. So, ano yung mga makikita natin na structure? Is the frontal lobe here in this area. Then your sylvian fissure. Then your temporal lobe. Then here is your suprasellar cistern. The midbrain, the fourth ventricle, and then again your cerebellum, cerebellar hemisphere. Okay, so these are the important structures na makikita natin kapag nakita natin si star. So yung star, siya yung suprasellar cistern. So the frontal lobes are sometimes associated with what it means to be human. So absence of your frontal lobes, okay, the absence of your frontal lobes typically results in a person who is deemed emotionally shallow, listless, apathetic, and insensitive to social norms. Furthermore, your frontal lobes exert a degree of control over the hypothalamus, which controls the autonomic nervous system and endocrine system as well as organizes survival behavior. Control of movement is associated with the frontal lobes via the primary motor cortex located within this lobe. So kung natandaan nyo kanina, yung motor cortex and sensory cortex, so part siya ng frontal lobe. On the other hand, yung cerebellum naman natin or the little brain, its primary function involves control of bodily movements. It serves as a reflex center for the coordination and precise maintenance of equilibrium. Voluntary and involuntary bodily movements are controlled by the cerebellum. The visual, auditory, vestibular, and somatosensory information is received by the cerebellum parem, as is information on the movements of individual muscles. Okay, those are the functions of our cerebellum. Next, the third basic slice is si Mr. Happy. So again, yung first is the X. Next, yung star ng the third basic slice. So nakikita natin, umangat ulit tayo ng isa pa. Siya na si Mr. Happy. So ano makikita natin kay Mr. Happy? So ito siya yung smiley na yan. So sino ba yung smiley na yan? Yung smiley is the quadrigeminal plate cistern. Okay? Kung yung si star, siya si suprasellar cistern. This one, si smiley is your quadrigeminal plate cistern. Okay? So, what are the structures? The falx cerebri. Okay? So, yung midline ng brain. So, here. Falx cerebri. Then, area of the frontal lobe. Here is the anterior horn of the lateral ventricle. Then, your third ventricle in here. And then your quadrigeminal plate cistern, and then again, your cerebellum. So your symmetrical smile, Mr. Happy, the third basic slice is the area of the quadrigeminal cistern. It should be a symmetrical smile. So in here also, we can see the area of your basal ganglia bilaterally. So the basal ganglia are a collection of subcortical nuclei situated beneath the anterior portions of your lateral ventricles. They are involved in the control of movement. So Parkinson's disease has an effect upon the basal ganglia, resulting in poor balance, rigidity of the limbs, tremors, weakness, and difficulty with initiating movements. Okay, so those are the important structures in the third basic slice of your 6 essential CT images. Let's proceed. So the next, the fourth basic slice is si Mr. Sad. So X, the star, the Mr. Happy, and then Mr. Sad. Okay, Mr. Sad, baka hindi nyo masyadong ma-appreciate, but ito yung choroid plexus. Okay, so kung nakasmile siya kanina, this one parang naka-sad face naman na siya. So that's your Mr. Sad. So what are the important structures? The genu of the corpus callosum, again, the anterior horn of the lateral ventricle, your internal capsule. In this area, this is your internal capsule. The thalamus. So these are the important structures, no? Kapag mga infarctions, so these are the common locations ng mga infarct, yung mga maliliit na infarct, and hemorrhages as well. So, and then the next is the pineal gland. So in here, in the pineal gland, common makakakita tayo dyan ng mga calcifications. Common kasi nagka-calcify talaga yung pineal gland. Okay, so wag natin agad iisipin na bleed or what. Pag nakakita tayo doon siya ng puti kasi nagka-calcify talaga siya. Common. And then, yung Mr. Sad, ito, your choroid plexus. So pag nakita na natin si Mr. Sad, nandun na tayo sa area ng choroid plexus. And then, this is your straight sinus. Okay, so again, this is your fourth basic slice, Mr. Sad. So wag malilito dun sa mga structures na nakikita per slice. Okay, so pwedeng maitanong sa inyo kung which of the following structures are not seen, is not seen in the fourth basic slice, something like that. So dapat maintindihan nyo to. Okay? Anyway, 6 essential CT images lang naman to. So hindi naman siya marami. So maaaral nyo talaga siya. So this one is an MRI naman. T2-weighted axial through the foramen of Monro and third ventricle. So ito makikita natin si Mr. Sad. Okay? So anatomy lang ulit, your frontal lobe. So this is your fourth basic slice look like in your MRI. This is T2. Why T2? Because the fluid is white. So water is white in T2. Okay, water is white in T2. Para hindi nyo makalimutan, World War II. World War II, WW2. Water is white in T2. Okay, so this is your T2. So again, anatomy, your caudate head, the lentiform nucleus. So kung mapapansin natin, madaming important structures makikita natin dito kay Mr. Sad. Okay, nandiyan na yung thalamus, internal capsule, the insula, the sylvian fissure, third ventricle, pineal cistern, the choroid plexus, the occipital lobe. So this one, madami tayong important structures kay Mr. San. Okay, so the thalamus, it is the relay station for incoming sensory signals and outgoing motor signals passing to and from the cerebral cortex. With the exception of the olfactory sense, all sensory input to the brain connected to nerve cell clusters of the thalamus. Okay, again, this is the fourth basic slice. Your Mr. San. The next one, the fifth basic slice, the worms. So, bakit siya worm? Because itong ventricle. So, this is your ventricles. So, pag inangat pa natin, so that's the fifth basic slice, your worm. So, again, makikita natin, falx cerebri. Ito na sa midline ng brain, no? That's your falx. Then the frontal lobe. The body of the lateral ventricle. Kaya siya tinawag the worm, no? The worms. So, and then the splenium. So, may geno dito kanina. So, nandito yung splenium niya, posterior. Then your parietal lobe, the occipital lobe, and then your superior sagittal sinus posteriorly. So, this is the worms or the fifth basic slice in CT. And then, meron din siyang representation, MR, T2 again. Water is white in T2. So, this is a T2 weighted image. Showing you again the interhemispheric fissure, the anterior interhemispheric fissure, the frontal lobe, so the body of your lateral ventricle, here's your parietal lobe, the calcarine fissure, the cunyate, so ito yung cunyate na tinatawag, again your calcarine fissure bilaterally, and then your superior sagittal sinus. So these are the important structures in the fifth basic slice, the worms. The last essential CT slice, basic slice, is the coffee bean. So ito naman, para siyang shape ng coffee bean. That's why tinawag siya na coffee bean. Parang nandun na tayo dun sa vertex. Papunta na tayo dun sa tuktok ng head, no? So that's ang pinaka sixth basic slice, yung last slice is the coffee bean. So ito yung pinaka-kokonte, no? So again, your falx cerebri, sulcus, gyrus, and then your sagittal sinus. Okay, this is the coffee bean or the sixth basic slice. So in here, the cerebral cortex is folded, convoluted tissue commonly imagined when an image of the brain is recalled from memory. So the folded, crumpled structure contains an enormous amount of small and large grooves, so your sulci and fissures, and bulges. This type of structure is beneficial for it greatly increases the overall surface area of your cortex. So kapag nakita natin yan, so parang ito yung pinakamadali sa lahat ng 6 essential CT images, the coffee bean. No, puro makikita lang natin sulci, gyrus, no, sa area na yan. So in MRI naman, this is how it looks like. So sa MRI lang, mas kaya natin specify yung mga gyrus niya. Katulad nito. No? So, puro siya sulcus, gyrus, fissure, no? As you can see in here. So, the cerebral cortex is commonly referred to as gray matter. This is based upon the appearance of the cortex, which, due to the predominance of cells, appears grayish-brown. So, the neurons of the cerebral cortex are connected to other neurons within the brain via millions of axons located beneath the cortex. This area is white in color due to the concentration of myelin, and it is often called your white matter. So in general terms, it is well understood that the left hemisphere controls linguistic consciousness, the right half of the body, talking, reading, writing, spelling, speech communication, verbal intelligence, and memories. Information processing in the areas of math, typing, grammar, logic, analytic reasoning, and perception of details. So imagine kung walang cerebrum, so wala lahat yan. So your right hemisphere naman is associated with unconsciousness awareness. perception of faces and patterns, comprehensions of body language and social cues, creativity and insight, intuitive reasoning, visual spatial processing, and holistic comprehension. So, yun yung function, magkaiba yung ating right and left cerebral hemisphere. So, again, this is the last basic slice, the sixth, which is the coffee bean. So, in MRI, puro gyrus, fissure, sulcus yung ma-appreciate natin. Kasi mas nakikita siya sa MRI than your CT. Okay, kung mapapansin nyo. Okay, mas kaya siyang i-identify. So, next, your cerebral hemisphere. So, again, cerebral cortex. You have the cortical gray matter. Okay, so this is the area of your cortical gray matter. Okay, kasi yung nasa loob or yung nasa center, that's your white matter. So, yan yung gray matter natin. Then your insula. Okay, so the gray matter of the cerebral cortex is formed in folds called gyri. So tulad na nakita natin sa MRI kanina, yung mga folds, that's your gyri. Note that the cortex appears whiter than the underlying white matter. So wag malilito, no? So yung mas maputi yung gray matter. Okay, so in this area, dito sa this your first image, no, mas mapapansin natin, mas maputi. That's your gray matter. And yung mas inside, mas gray, that's your white matter. Okay? So note that the cortex appears whiter, this one, than the underlying white matter. So again, your cortical gray matter and then yung white matter. So sulci and gyri. So yung gyrus, yun yung fold of the brain surface. Yung pinaka-fold, yun yung gyrus. Yung sulcus naman, yung space. Furrow between the gyri which contains CSF. So, dyan natin makikita yung CSF. Yung gyri, yun yung mismong fold ng brain. Okay, so wag silang pagpapalitin. So, this one, yun yung CSF. Yan. So, anatomy ulit of your brain, sagittal. So, your frontal, the sylvian fissure, temporal, parietal, and occipital lobe. So this one, this is important, the central sulcus or fissure of Rolando. So the central sulcus separates the frontal lobe from the parietal lobe. So sa CT scan, Asia CT scan, kapag nakita na natin tong sulcus na to, that's the central sulcus of Rolando, parietal na yung katabinan. So yan yung boundary nila. Yan yung nagsaseparate ng frontal and then your parietal. And it also separates the primary motor cortex anteriorly from the primary somatosensory cortex posteriorly. So kanina nakita niyo, 'di ba? Ulitin ko, yung motor cortex anterior siya, yung sensory cortex posterior siya ng motor. So central sulcus din yung nagsa-separate sa kanila. Okay, central sulcus of Rolando. So important yan. So in MRI naman, so ito lang siya. That's your central sulcus of Rolando. So it separates your frontal from the parietal. And it also separates the primary motor cortex from the sensory motor cortex. Okay, so again, in coronal view, our frontal lobe, postcentral sulcus, the sylvian fissure, the central sulcus. Okay, and so on. So baka lang hindi nyo siya masyadong ma-appreciate kasi magulo, no? So but again, this is your coronal, this is your sagittal view. And din here sa sagittal, nakikita natin yung precentral sulcus. Siyempre, yung precentral sulcus, yun yung sulcus bago mag-central sulcus of Rolando. Then after nung central sulcus, nandun na yung post-central sulcus. So lapit lang din sila. So precentral, next doon is the central sulcus, then the next one is the post-central sulcus. So yung central sulcus, yun yung Rolando. Then the sylvian fissure. Yung sylvian fissure naman, okay, that's your sylvian fissure. It is also known as the lateral sulcus. Okay, so it separates the frontal and parietal lobe superiorly from the temporal lobe inferiorly. Okay, so ito naman si lateral sulcus or the Sylvian fissure. Ayan siya, itong dalawa na yan. So sineseparate nila ang frontal and parietal lobe superiorly and temporal lobe inferiorly. Then the insular cortex is located immediately deep to the Sylvian fissure. Okay, so but this slice showing you the Sylvian fissure. So ito pala, yan, nakalibot siya, your Sylvian fissure. Okay. Then the parieto-occipital fissure. Okay, this is your parieto-occipital sulcus. And then posteriorly, yung calcarine sulcus. Napakita na din to kanina dun sa eggshell, no? But this one, this is your parieto-occipital sulcus in sagittal. So your parieto-occipital fissure or sulcus naman is an oblique sulcus which demarcates the occipital lobe from the parietal lobe on the middle surface of the cerebral hemisphere. Okay, so nasa medial surface siya. The parieto-occipital sulcus joins the calcarine sulcus, okay, to form a pattern similar to the letter Y which has been placed sideways. So baka hindi niyo ma-appreciate dito yung letter Y. So yun nga, nagjo-join yung parieto-occipital sulcus and the calcarine sulcus dun sa posteriorly. Then again, yung frontal lobe, the motor, premotor, prefrontal. So yung motor cortex kanina, control of voluntary movement. So mas anterior siya kaysa dun sa sensory cortex. Then the premotor cortex, your Broca's speech area. It deals with motor aspects of the speech. And then yung prefrontal, it involved naman yung intellectual, emotional, and autonomic activity. Okay, so wag pagpalitin yung premotor and prefrontal area. So kapag premotor, yun yung Broca's. Okay? So your frontal lobe. So this is the frontal lobe. Both ito have bilateral frontal lobe yan. Okay, in eggshell view, highlighted by your red color, your frontal lobe. In sagittal, this is your frontal lobe. In coronal, your frontal lobe. Okay. Then the cingulate gyrus. So yung cingulate gyrus naman, by the way, this is an MRI study, no? So ito yung cingulate gyrus. So mas kita siya. In coronal view, this is your cingulate gyrus. So it lies on the middle aspect of the cerebral hemisphere. It forms a major part of the limbic system. So again, the cingulate gyrus is major part of the limbic system which has functions in emotion and behavior. Okay, so in sagittal view, ito naman yung cingulate gyrus. Again, gyrus siya yung mga fold, gyri. Okay. So this is the cingulate gyri or gyrus. It extends from the subcallosal gyrus in the frontal lobe anteriorly to the isthmus posteriorly. Okay? Anteriorly, posteriorly. It follows the superior convexity of your corpus callosum. So here's your corpus callosum, separated from it by the callosal sulcus. Okay, again, this is your cingulate gyrus. So next is the parietal lobe. Sensory cortex as known as the post-central gyrus. Okay, so post-central gyrus, sensory cortex. The parietal lobe is located in the upper part of the cerebral hemispheres. It is located posteriorly to your frontal lobe. So in this image, this is your frontal lobe. And this is your parietal. So it is located posterior to the frontal lobe. Superior to the temporal lobe, this is your temporal lobe. This is your parietal. So it is located superior to the temporal lobe. Then the parietal lobe is partially separated from the temporal lobe by the Sylvian fissure or your lateral sulcus, yung nakita natin kanina sa eggshell. Then it is anterior to the occipital lobe. So here's your occipital lobe. So it is anterior. The parietal lobe is separated from the occipital lobe by the parieto-occipital sulcus to the middle part. Yung nakita din natin kanina sa naunang image, no? Sa sagittal natin nakita yung parieto-occipital sulcus. So this one. Okay, so this is your parieto-occipital sulcus. So, highlighted by the blue color is your parietal lobe. Parietal lobe in ischial, parietal lobe in sagittal, and parietal lobe in coronal. So kanina kung mapapansin nyo, bakit nandito pa rin sa area na to? Kanina parang frontal to. Nag-move na to, ibang slice na siya. So nandun na tayo sa area ng parietal lobe. Kasi nakikita na natin dito yung occipital area, yung posterior, no? Okay, yung cerebellum, nandito na tayo sa area na to. And then the temporal lobe naman, it is for your auditory cortex for the reception of auditory stimuli. The temporal lobe is located in the lower part of the cerebral hemispheres. Okay, so alam naman natin, nandun siya sa lateral part. It is inferior to the frontal lobe and parietal lobe. Okay, inferiorly, nandun yung temporal lobe natin. And then the temporal lobe is separated from the frontal lobe by your lateral sulcus or your sylvian fissure. Okay, that's your sylvian fissure. And then, your auditory your temporal lobe naman is anterior to your occipital because this is your occipital lobe. Okay, so this is your frontal, the parietal, the temporal, and your occipital. So in here, highlighted by the yellow color is your temporal lobe. In ischial, in sagittal, and in coronal views. So, yung mga important na sulcus and gyrus, no? Your inferior temporal gyrus, the middle temporal gyrus, and your superior temporal gyrus. Okay, the superior, the middle, and the inferior temporal gyrus. Okay, so sa coronal, makikitang-kita natin, no, yung mga gyrus na yan. Okay, then in your sagittal naman, ito siya. Superior, middle, and inferior in sagittal. So this is an important part of your temporal lobe. Then your occipital lobe. Your occipital lobe is responsible for visual stimuli. So the occipital lobe is located in the posterior part of the cerebral hemisphere. It is posterior to the temporal lobe and parietal lobe. The occipital lobe is partially separated from the parietal lobe again. The parieto-occipital fissure. There's only virtual separation between the temporal lobe and occipital lobe. Kasi virtually continuous sila. No, parang wala naman talaga silang hati, pero virtually there. Meron lang virtual separation sa kanilang dalawa, the temporal and occipital. Next is the insula, part pa rin tayo ng cerebral cortex. So, important structure din to kasi may mga infarct din, maliliit na infarct na nangyayari dyan sa insula. So, insular cortex is buried in the floor of the lateral sulcus crossed by the branches of your MCA. Then we have the what we call the operculum. It is parts of the frontal, parietal, and temporal lobes that overlie the insula. Okay, that's your operculum. Part siya ng frontal, parietal, and temporal lobes that overlie the insula. So in this image, hindi natin siya ma-identify. So here's the area of your insula. Okay, in MRI, ischial, coronal, and sagittal. That's the area of your insula. So we have three types of fiber within the cerebral hemisphere. We have the commissural, association, or the arcuate fibers, and the projection fibers. So yung commissural fibers, it connects to corresponding areas of the two hemispheres. So yung corpus callosum. Example of your commissural fibers. Then the association or the arcuate fibers, it connect different parts of the cortex of the same hemisphere. Okay, so pag same hemisphere, association or arcuate fibers. Kapag naman projection fibers, join the cortex to lower centers. Example are your internal capsule and corona radiata. Okay, so it joined the cortex to lower centers. So kapag pinag-join niya yung cortex to the lower centers, yun yung projection fibers. Kapag same hemisphere, association or arcuate fibers. And kapag yung connection ng corresponding areas of two hemispheres, Example is your corpus callosum, yun yung commissural fibers. So yung corpus callosum daw is the great mediator. So siya yung nag-hold sa dalawang hemisphere, no? Right and left hemisphere are connected by your corpus callosum. Okay, so that's how important our corpus callosum is. So we need to work together. Okay, so hinuhold sila ng corpus callosum. So crossly, this is your brain, no? So your corpus callosum in here, so hinuhold niya. And so again, image, okay, is an eggshell view, your commissural fibers, corpus callosum. So it is a large midline mass of commissural fibers, each of which connects corresponding areas of both hemispheres. It is approximately 10 centimeters long and becomes progressively thicker towards its posterior end. Okay, so mapapansin natin, mas kumakapal siya papuntang posterior. So may mga parts siya, the rostrum, yung first part, which extend anteriorly from the anterior commissure in this area, the rostrum, and then the genu. This is the most anterior part where it bends sharply backward. So itong pa-bend na to, that's your genu. And then the trunk or the body of the corpus callosum, main mass of fibers extending from the genu anteriorly, the splenium posteriorly. It lies below the lower free edge of the falx cerebri. And then the splenium, this is the thickened posterior end. Okay, so we have the rostrum, the genu, the body, and then the splenium. So again, example, image of your corpus callosum. So this is the genu. Yung anterior is the genu, and then yung sa eggshell view, yung posterior. This is your splenium of corpus callosum. So kapag sinabi natin sa report, so sinasabi natin na meron sa genu of the corpus callosum or the splenium of corpus callosum. So in sagittal, this is your splenium, the body, the genu, and the rostrum. Okay, in coronal view, this is how it looks like. In sagittal view and in eggshell view. The genu and the splenium. Okay, so makikita natin yung whole corpus callosum sa sagittal view. So projection fibers. So ito yung kapag nagko-connect na fiber from the cortex to the lower centers. So example ay yung corona radiata and internal capsule. So upwards, corona radiata, and downwards, crus cerebri of the midbrain. Okay, so yun yung projection fibers. So kinoconnect niya yung from cortex to the lower centers. So what is your corona radiata? What is the importance of your corona radiata? So your corona radiata, it refers to a pair of white matter tracts seen at the level of the lateral ventricles. Okay, superiorly, they are continuous with the centrum semiovale. Inferiorly, these tracts converge as the internal capsule. Okay, so this is your corona radiata. So madalas mayroong mga infarct sa area na yun. Okay, so kapag nakita na natin itong worm, so nandun na tayo sa area ng corona radiata. So your internal capsule naman, it contains sensory fibers from the thalamus to the sensory cortex and motor fibers from the motor cortex to motor nuclei in the brain stem. Corticobulbar tracts, and in the spinal cord, the corticospinal tracts. It has an anterior limb and posterior limb. So it has an anterior limb between the caudate and lentiform nuclei. So in this image, this is the anterior limb of the internal capsule and the posterior limb of the internal capsule, which is between the lentiform nucleus and the thalamus. Limbs meet at the right angle gene. Okay, so this is the gene. This is your internal capsule. So in MRI, eggshell, so the posterior limb of the internal capsule, the anterior limb of the internal capsule. So again, common yung mga maliliit na infarct or infarct sa area na yan. So coronal MRI, so again your gray matter yung nasa cortex, and then yung white matter na yan. Okay, so ito mas di tayo malilito na this is the white matter and this is the gray matter. Then the basal ganglia, so yung basal ganglia naman, it is a group of nuclei in the brain that is interconnected with the cerebral cortex, thalami, and brainstem. So in a strict anatomical sense, it contains 3 paired nuclei, the caudate nucleus, the putamen, and the globus pallidus. Okay, so yun yung 3 paired nuclei sa area ng basal ganglia. Yung putamen, together with the caudate nucleus and globus pallidus, it is known as your corpus striatum. Okay, and then the globus pallidus naman, together with putamen, it is known as the lentiform nucleus. So again, kapag yung lentiform nucleus and caudate nucleus, they are collectively known as your corpus striatum. Then yung putamen and globus pallidus, lentiform nucleus. So what composed your lentiform nucleus? It's your putamen and globus pallidus. And your corpus striatum, the lentiform nucleus and caudate nucleus. Okay, so wag malilito and wag pagpapalitan. So again, basal ganglia, it's a relationship to the ventricles and thalamus. So this is your basal ganglia. So ayan, yung area ng caudate, putamen, globus pallidus. Okay, so malapit siya or adjacent siya sa thalamus. Okay, by this one, anatomy. So nakalabel naman. So ayan yung area ng basal ganglia bilateral. Then the caudate nucleus, it is curved and lies within the concavity of the lateral ventricle as pointed by these arrows. It has head, body, and tail. The function of your caudate nucleus, it has both motor and behavioral functions, in particular maintaining body and limb posture as well as controlling approach, attachment behaviors respectively. Okay, so that's your caudate nucleus. Then your lentiform nucleus. So again, kapag putamen plus globus pallidus, that's your lentiform nucleus. The putamen, it is an additional role in memory formation, more specifically muscle memory. And the globus pallidus naman serves to help make fine movements and inhibit abnormal movements. Damage to this structure can cause involuntary limb shaking like that in Parkinson's disease. Okay, so ito yung mga function ng ating putamen and globus pallidus. So here, your putamen, the globus pallidus, so collectively known as your lentiform nucleus. And then here, in this area is the caudate. And then here, thalamus and your posterior limb of the internal capsule na tinuro natin kanina. Then the claustrum. Ito naman claustrum, it is a thin sheet of gray matter between putamen and insula. Sobrang liit lang niya. Okay, so this is a thin sheet of gray matter. Ito siya pinapoint sa area na to. Between the putamen and insula, that's your claustrum. And then, basal ganglia classifications. It is common and seen in approximately 1% of all CT scan of the brain. It is seen more frequently in older patients and is considered a normal incidental and idiopathic finding in an elderly patient, but should be considered pathological in persons younger than age 40 unless proved otherwise. So, may mga areas tayo ng brain na common yung calcifications, no? So, kasama doon yung basal ganglia. Kanina nabanggit ko yung pineal. So, makikita talaga na common na may mga calcification sa area na yun. But, pathological, considered pathological kapag age 40 and younger. Okay? So, the diencephalon naman. Ang diencephalon, it consists of 3 structures: thalamus, hypothalamus, and epithalamus. And these structures effectively enclose your third ventricle. So, in here, this is the area of the thalamus. Then, below is the hypothalamus. And then, in this area, more posterior is the epithalamus. Okay, so yung structure na to, they effectively enclose your third ventricle. Then your thalamus, it is bodies of gray matter lie in the lateral walls of the third ventricle from the interventricular foramen anteriorly to the brainstem posteriorly. So kanina dun sa mga naunang image, so again in here, this is the area of the thalamus in axial view and coronal view. It is more rounded posterior end. It has more rounded posterior end or pulvinar. And it is related laterally to the internal capsule and beyond that to the lentiform nucleus. Kasi sa area na yan, nandyan din yung kaninang tinuro natin na internal capsule, no? Then the lentiform nucleus. And the body and tail of the caudate nucleus are in contact with the lateral margin of the thalamus. Okay, so the blood supply of your thalamus is the thalamus striate branch of posterior cerebral artery. So the thalamus has many functions, including that as translator of prethalamic inputs into readable form. It processes and relays sensory information selectively to various parts of the cerebral cortex, regulation of sleep and wakefulness, thalamocorticothalamic circuits involved in consciousness and arousal, the level of awareness and activity. Okay, so these are the functions or important functions of your thalamus. So again, in this MRI, so ito yung area ng thalamus, bilateral, and then CT scan, ito naman siya. Again, common dyan yung mga infarct or even bleed, no? Dyan sa area na yan. Then the hypothalamus, so just below, or the thalamus is the hypothalamus, and it forms the floor of the third ventricle. Okay, it is intimately associated with both the limbic system and the pituitary gland. Okay, the function of the hypothalamus is to regulate for the regulation of temperature, appetite, and sleep pattern. So, anatomical relationship, hypothalamus, so anteriorly, lamina terminalis with optic chiasm at its lower border and anterior commissure above. Superiorly naman, imaginary line between the anterior and posterior commissures. Then posteriorly, imaginary line again, slapping anterior inferiorly from the posterior commissure to the mammillary bodies. And inferiorly or yung floor, yung infundibular stalk. Tuberous cinereum and mammillary bodies from front to back. Okay, so that's the anatomical relationship of your hypothalamus. So this one, so mas nakikita natin ang hypothalamus in sagittal view. Okay, so this is the area of your hypothalamus. Next is the pituitary gland. So this is also called your hypophysis cerebri. So it lies in the sella turcica or your Turk's saddle on top of the body of the sphenoid bone. So this is the sphenoid bone, sphenoid sinus. Then andito yung Turk's saddle, sella turcica. So nandun ang ating pituitary gland or the hypophysis cerebri. So for the normal measurement, 12 millimeters transverse, diameter 8 millimeter AP, and 9 millimeter yung height. Okay, 12 millimeter by 8 by 9. So again, your pituitary gland, anatomical relationships above the diaphragm sella, and above this, the suprasellar cistern with the optic chiasm anteriorly and the circle of Willis. Below, body of the sphenoid and the sphenoid sinus. Laterally, the dura and the cavernous sinus and its contents. Okay, so kita naman natin dito sa sphenoid and chiasm. Okay, laterally din yung internal carotid, abducens, oculomotor, ophthalmic and trochlear nerves in its walls. Inferior to the ophthalmic division of the fifth nerve is the maxillary division. So dito siya sa inferior. Okay, that's your anatomical relationship of your pituitary gland. For the radiology of the pituitary gland, so MRI is the optimal imaging technique for the evaluation of pituitary gland. Adequate assessment requires dedicated high-resolution imaging through the sellar region. So again, MRI is the optimal imaging. Coronal and sagittal views are most useful. The anterior and posterior lobes can be differentiated by MRI. Skull radiographs and CT scan have limited roles in evaluating your pituitary gland. Again, MRI is the optimal imaging technique for your pituitary gland. So again, another imaging ulit for your, or example for your pituitary gland anatomy. So in sagittal, this is your mammillary body. So kasali siya dun sa anatomical relationship, no? Yung sphenoid sinus, siya yung inferior, no? Optic chiasm. Here's your infundibulum. Okay, so yan yung mga nagsusurround sa ating pituitary. So in skull x-ray, so mahirap siyang makita syempre. At hindi talaga siya makikita, no? But this one sa CT scan, this is your pituitary. Because this is the sphenoid sinus. So above, yun yung sella turcica. Nandun yung ating pituitary. So again, example, that's our pituitary gland. In MRI, non-contrast and then post-contrast. Okay, so nag-enhance. Coronal view of your pituitary gland. So napakaliit lang niya. Non-contrast and with contrast. That's our pituitary gland. Then the pineal gland, it lies between the posterior ends of the thalamus and between the splenium above and superior colliculi below. Okay, so that's your location of your pineal. So in here, that's your pineal gland. And then it is separated from the splenium by the cerebral veins. And it lies within 3 millimeters from the midline. So in here, this is your pineal gland. So radiographic features. Pineal calcification is visible in approximately 50%. So katulad siya ng basal ganglia, no? Common siya na nagka-calcify. After the age of 10 years and then greater percentage of CT scan. So again, common na nagka-calcify ang pineal gland. So in MRI, the pineal gland is, and its superior and inferior laminae is best seen in mid-sagittal MRI. So here's our pineal gland. So naka-zoom para mas makita. The pineal gland, the habenula in here, the third ventricle, the pulvinar, and then this is your posterior lateral ventricle. So again, coronal view lang. Ito yung ating pineal gland sa coronal view. Yung napakaliit na yun. Naka-zoom to para lang makita niya na maayos. Then the lateral ventricle in here is your corpus callosum, the fornix. In this area is the thalamus, and this one, cerebellum na to. Next, in sagittal naman, this is your pineal. Okay, in sagittal, ito siya. And then again, the adjacent structures. Okay, so I think this is my last slide. Thank you for listening.